Hello and welcome to Gamersledge podcast. Come in and sit down, relax. I am, of course, one of your hosts, Mark. Thanks for joining us this evening. We're going to jump directly into the Marvel Infinity War trailer. We're going to do some reactions, and then we're going to do a deep dive on it and see what's there. So let's just jump directly into that. Joining me, of course, as I get this ready is Dave. Hi, Dave.
Hello.
And then, of course, to his right is Matt.
Howdy.
All right, so super hyped. Here we go. It's a trap. It is a trap. Here we go.
The entire time I knew him, he only ever had one goal. To wipe out half the universe. If he gets all the Infinity Stones, he can do it with the snap of his fingers. Just like that.
Tell me his name again.
Thanos.
We got one advantage. He's coming to us. We have what Thanos wants, so that's what we use.
Let's talk about this plan of yours. I think it's good, except it sucks. So let me do the plan, and that way it might be really good.
Wow.
The end is near. When I'm done, half of humanity will still exist. Perfectly balanced. As all things should be. I hope they remember you.
I'm Peter, by the way.
Doctor Strange.
Oh, you're using your made-up names. Then I am Spider-Man.
I'm not sure if I want to shed a tear or jump up and cheer or both. I mean, Marvel knows how to do a trailer.
They do. The best thing about them is they're able to put in so much into a trailer,
It still tell you nothing.
and it's so little.
There's so much to unpack here, and I mean, I guess I kind of want to go through the frame by frame and talk about the different scenes that they do have. So I guess we'll say, if you want to go into Infinity War not having any speculation or any thought into beyond what you saw in the images, then stop this video now, because we're going to go ahead and go deep dive into it, because there's so much to unpack here. But can I say how weird it is to see like Star-Lord talking to Iron Man? 10 years there's been these walls that are just like gone, and it's so weird. I don't think I've ever experienced that with any other trailer or movie that I can think. Can you think of any other movie where it creates that kind of, like, has there been a big crossover?
The closest thing I can compare it to was back in the 80s when I was watching the A-Team, and Face was at an amusement park, and a Cylon walked by, and he just went.
Yeah, but that's a nod to, like, that's not like direct interact. Like, I was thinking like Hogan's Heroes.
No. Did you see what I said? He went to shoot the Cylon.
Mm-hmm.
because he was Starbuck.
Yeah, I know, but that's still just an Easter egg, really, because if you don't know those two franchises, it's not like it's not like they interacted with each other. That was just an Easter egg. But like the only thing I could think of was Batman and Hogan's Heroes, like way back in the '60s TV show.
He just
That
shot
one
me up his nose.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
that burned.
Yeah, me Reiki. Yeah, no, I mean that's the only thing I could think of where you definitely had two different universes kind of coming together in a WTF kind of moment like that. I
That or
couldn't
the
think of
Scooby Doo mysteries.
Yeah, yeah, but that's not like real people. I don't know. I don't know. Let's go through this. Let's go through this. All right, so we've obviously got the shot of New York here. Now, I was actually trying to figure this out. So either that's a ship right there, like something's entering Earth's orbit, or this is a shot of the end of the Chitauri invasion, like from the end of Avengers 1. What do you think?
I didn't really put that much thought into that part,
Okay.
Yeah.
and I'm cool with not
The
putting that
entire
much thought
time
into
I
that
knew
part.
him, he only ever had one goal.
So we got War Machine Rhodey back on his feet, and then obviously Banner and Black Widow back together. Most likely in New York, watching whatever this is trailing across the sky, I would imagine.
To wipe out half the universe.
Which, I love this shot of the brownstone, but you can see whatever that is. I'm guessing it's Thanos' ship kind of coming into orbit or something along those lines.
Or it's that disc.
If
that
he
we've
gets
seen.
Right.
all the Infinity Stones, he can do it with the snap of his fingers. Just like
Now, what did you
know
say,
the
Dave?
movie's- You know the movie's ending like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it has to. It has to. I was on Quora today, and somebody's like, "What could the possible title for Avengers 4 be?" And I was like, "Avengers 4, 50% less Avengers."
Oh dear.
that.
Tell me his name again.
Thanos.
Now, I want to say right there, they are not talking to each other. That is editing.
That does look like editing. They don't look
I-
like they're in the same place.
No, I don't think so. Because if you look at the pattern on the back of Tony's room, it looks like he's in the brownstone, but it looks like Gamora's on a spaceship. And when we see her talking about, doing it in a snap, she's on a spaceship. So I think that those are two separate conversations that have just been cleverly edited together. And can I
Which
say
they've
how
done a lot. They've done that a
Yes.
lot in their trailers.
and can I say how badass Thanos looks? Because he.
Yeah, it's a classic armor.
Yeah, let me turn this down a little bit so it's not in our ears so much. There we go. Yep, sorry. The fastest Marvel Studios logo that we've ever seen, I think.
Yeah.
And way to be inconspicuous, Spidey. I mean, he's outside the vehicle, putting on his mask. I mean, the only plausible thing I can think of is from that first trailer where everybody's looking out the other side of the window. He snuck out the other side and done this. But still, you'd
Or-
think the cars would see him or something.
Or the bus is empty by this point,
While it's
There's not
still
that much-
moving,
there's-
what are they going to do with the kids? Just chuck them
There's
out
not
the
that
window?
much traffic on the road where he's at.
I don't think it's moving there.
We got one advantage.
No, maybe. There we can see the disc ship floating over Manhattan.
And I haven't seen Stark Tower
He's
yet.
coming to us.
Now I want to figure that one out. How in the heck?
Oh, well, that's already been...
No. Let us have things.
Oh,
Don't do that.
You don't want to know?
What's that?
You don't want to know what that is?
It's a big.
Oh, I know what it is. It's just
Yeah.
it's awesome, but yeah, it's one of those super goofy things.
He can make anything, so sure. Reroutes it on the fly.
Taking the disc, which appears to be going up at this
We
point.
have
Yeah.
what Thanos wants. So that's what we use.
Doctor Strange and the Eye Agamotto Vision of the Mind Gem. Actually, let's go back
So, okay.
for a second there. Yeah. I gotta go back. Yep, that's exactly the shot I wanted. So we've got blonde Black Widow, which doesn't that technically make her the other one? What's her face?
Well, it's-
Natalia.
It's still her. She's just incognito because they've been on the run.
We see-
But it's probably a nod to the blonde Black Widow.
yeah, I think so. And then we've got Banner in the background. We've got Rhodey walking, which
in his Robo Chaps.
Yeah, his Robo Chaps, which I'm actually going to guess is, Wakandan technology as well. We've got Vision in the back. Vision clearly still has the Mind Gem at this point. And then Scarlet Witch is back there too, and Falcon's back there also. So it looks like the bulk of the Avengers will be heading to Wakanda.
Well, now the question here is that slow rolling confirmation that the gems in the center of the giant vibranium meteorite
which
there.
we're going to talk about that. I'm glad you brought that up because there's other things to think about there. Now, this is Shuri with a diagram of Vision. So I'm thinking that this is actually from later in the movie after Vision has had his gem removed. Because I would imagine that she's working on trying to get him functional again. That's the only thing I could think of. Otherwise, why else would she
Where was the diagram of Vision?
That's what the blue floaty thing is right there.
Oh, I thought that was the vibranium asteroid.
No, it's Vision's head.
Oh, maybe it's a head.
It's definitely Vision's head because there's the little Mind Stone, the yellow part there.
Oh, that's okay.
I'm 99% sure.
Let's talk about this plan of yours. I think it's good, except it sucks. So let me do the plan. And
Tony's face.
Really good. Wow.
The best thing I can say.
Getting his own medicine for one.
Yeah, exactly. He never gets sass, and now he's getting sass. I approve of this message.
Yeah.
Tony Stark needs some sass.
The other thing I think is great is actually like Quill is a master strategist.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a thing.
It's haunted.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but I will say that we have not seen that in the movies so far. It's been more of a fly by the seat of my pants kind of thing. So I could
true. He came up with a pretty good plan the last movie or the last time.
Yeah.
I mean, even though it was 12% of a plan,
exactly,
it was a very good 12%.
So April 27th. So that's going to be a Thursday release, unlike Ready Player One, which is for some reason a Wednesday release. So, actually, I wanted to back up because can I say world's largest hover cars ever?
Yeah.
And then we've got Iron Patriot / War Machine flying in the right side of the screen, and then Falcon coming in from the left side. Now, Hulkbuster armor looks awesome. We know Cap's not in it because he was in the last shot. So I'm thinking since we saw from that first trailer Banner working on the Hulkbuster armor, I think Banner's in there because he doesn't want to turn into the Hulk. He doesn't want to. He's afraid he'll never come back. So that's how he can contribute.
Yeah, I think that's what I've been assuming.
And I think that's a super thematically. You got the clouds in the background, and you got Falcon and Rhodey flying by behind him. Like you couldn't. Unless they were streaming the Stars and Stripes behind them, you couldn't make a more patriotic kind of image. It's pretty amazing. I love the cinematography and everything in this trailer. That looks like Thor in his cape. Yep.
Yeah, Thor cape, yeah.
Now, this is the interesting thing. I don't think through either of the Guardians movies we ever saw Rocket scared or concerned, and that's what this is. So what the hell is Thor doing? That's my real question.
Oh, do we want to go into the Groot controversy at all?
About how it's Teen Groot who is actually the son of Groot?
It's Groot Jr., not Groot.
Yeah.
I thought we knew this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the comics, Groot has always grown back as Groot. He just regrows from any chunk of him that they plant back in the pot, and he just grows back into him. So anyone who's been in the comics just kind of assumes it's Groot because that's the lore that had been established.
Right. This is most likely Titan, I would imagine. Which I want them to introduce the rest of his family, the Eternals, so badly, but we know, we're not going to get Star Fox. We're not going to get any of the rest of them, I'm sure. But it would be pretty awesome if we did.
They did make it kind of look like there was some sort of terraformers or something going on Earth too. So this could be Wakanda still, or somewhere on Earth.
But there also could be flashbacks too.
Because, right. Well, we know there are. Well, as we'll see in a minute. But yeah.
So it's a very good possibility they're going to show him wiping out his family.
That could be. I mean, this could be Gamora's planet for all we know, also. But
yeah, which would fit with the next scene. Yeah. Oh yeah, it is. I bet you.
Well, no. See, even this looks more lush and green than that last shot. So I'm thinking maybe this is a separate flashback. If the other one was, the armor
again
great,
showing a ton of stuff. Can't really tell what any of it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sad that there's not more blue like he is in most of his, his statuettes and in the comics. But I'm really good with this. He looks badass in that armor. I'm so excited.
That works.
Oh my God! It's Baby She-Hulk.
Or
that's what half. No, I know, but that's what half the internet said after.
Baby She-Hulk.
Yeah, I'm like, really? It's a flashback, guys. Come on, man.
Yeah, because you see all the people and decide out there outside the guards. That's obviously Gamora's race.
It's obviously Gamora's race. The question is, will we see Thanos slaughter them all? And I think the answer is yes. Thanos and his guards slaughter them all.
So is this we see one shot of a character that I was not expecting to see in here. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention, but we'll talk about that when we get there.
Okay. If I miss it, call it out, because. Okay. So let's talk about this. Thanos is obviously about to kill Thor. And then in the next scene, you've got Loki standing there. And then the very next scene is him shattering the Tesseract to get the Infinity Gem out of it.
Right. Now,
but my guess is that, he's killed all these other Asgardians, and he's got Thor, and he says, Loki, hand over the Tesseract, or I will kill your brother. And so Loki hands it over. And he does not kill Thor, setting up the events of him being found by Guardians of the Galaxy. That's my thought.
Right. Now, the rest of the characters with Loki there.
Yes!
These are not characters, at least two of the four of them I can identify, are not characters I was expecting. Did we know the Black Order was going to be in here?
Yes, we did actually.
Yes, we did.
And how far back does the Black Order go? Because they're a relatively new thing to me. I don't remember them from, unless they're way back.
They're mashing up.
Yeah, they're mashing up. Well, but Ebon Maw,
Black Swan.
Ebony Maw? Ebon Maw? What's his name?
Ebon Maw.
Ebon Maw. Yeah, Ebon Maw has been messing with Doctor Strange for quite a while.
Okay.
But the others...
But Corvus hasn't... He's one of the newer characters, right? I mean, he was right around when they were doing the whole... What was that thing
Thanos
before
Jr.
Secret Wars?
Yeah, Thanos Jr. saga. Yeah, most definitely.
And then Proxima Midnight. And
So my guess is that this scene sets up the Black Order to show how badass they are by having them kill a bunch of Asgardians, and then show, Thanos manhandling him and say, give me what I want, or I kill your brother.
Yeah.
Editing! I'm sorry, but that's brilliant editing right there. Like, they had to edit the audio, the music file, which is already building a crescendo, and then extend it out so that you get that kind of drum beat effect. So good.
Can I just say I don't like the shield?
Yeah, I don't like it either.
I don't like it.
He's got one on each arm, though.
Oh, did he?
It doesn't show it there, but there was one of the pages, and that was the Entertainment Weekly spread, I think, where he's got those kind of mini shields, one on each arm.
Huh.
Like, I mean, I get it; it's functional and everything like that, but
I mean, this looks like it's on Titan again, unless they really screw up Earth. But I don't think that's
And that's Star Lord there. So
Star Lord and Doctor
Strange because
Strange.
he's
Yep.
Yeah.
As all things should be.
And Corvus
See,
Glaive.
No, Ebony Maw.
Or no, yeah, that's Ebon Maw. Yeah, sorry.
God, I always do Ebony Maw. Ebon Maw. And then here we see the Hulkbuster armor still in good spirits, and there we see the Hulkbuster go down. I'm calling this
And
now.
that's, I'm assuming, Hulk busts out a la Alien.
That is exactly what's going to happen. Because they have done that in the comics, too. So there is precedent for that. Having him bust out of the Hulkbuster armor as Hulk. Which is both ironic and amazing, and I want to see that. And plus, we know from the other trailer, he does become the Hulk. You know, so it's not like, yeah.
I hope they remember you.
And editing! Because those two shots are not connected at all.
Nope.
What we didn't know, though, is that Thanos is actually going to make an appearance in Wakanda, which appears to be what this is. How is Steve... So, this is probably the most controversial shot of the entire trailer. How is Steve holding Thanos back?
I can explain.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so Steve is highly trained. Okay, there is actually a trick I learned back in the day called the unbendable arm trick. Okay, and it's basically through sheer force of concentration, and it's really neat how it works. It's like you actually you're concentrating on, like I think the teacher had us visualizing water flowing through our arm, and it was a hose, and we had to fix on a spot, and we had to basically imagine water just flowing through our core, through our fingertips, and hitting this spot on the wall. And as long as you maintain that concentration, nobody could bend your arm. You could have 4 people on your arm trying to bend it, and it would not bend. So he's disciplined, he's trained. That's possible.
And he can do this all day long.
I have another theory.
Thanos is toying with him.
Well, that's a prevalent one.
That's the likely one.
But my theory is that him touching the Infinity Gauntlet, he's actually drawing power from it. Because Warlock does this in the comics. Warlock just had to touch the gauntlet while it was on Thanos' hand, and he could actually draw energy and manipulate things with it. But I'm still guessing this is where Steve dies. Sorry. I mean,
I don't think it'll be that scene.
Really? I think it will. I think he will crush his freaking hands. Like, I think this is also super slowed down for editing, for dramatic effect. I do not think it will be this speed in the actual movie. I think it'll be much faster. Because it just seems like the whole thing is super, well, after this jump cut here.
Now here's the interesting part. We see him put the blue gem into the gauntlet, and that's the only gem so far that we see, which means he doesn't get the purple until after the blue, which means he has to go to Xandar after he intercepts the Asgardian.
You know, that is a good question, but remember that all the colors are shifted.
Right, but purple is the one that Ronan had, and that they left on Xandar with the Nova Corps.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look, it makes sense because I mean, they already saw the scene where he shows up like right there, and that happened right after they got on the ship. So it's not like it makes sense that that's the first one hit.
Because we know the Mind Stone's yellow. I just, for some reason, I thought there were 2 purple ones in this.
Of course, that's a different order. This is a different color order there.
Exactly. That's my point. Is like, okay.
Well, there's red, yellow, purple, green, and I'm missing one.
Yeah.
According
So
to Lego, there's an orange one.
Yeah. So the Tesseract is the blue one. The Aether is the red one, which we saw in Thor, but which the Collector has. The Orb Power Stone is the one that Guardians of the Galaxy, the Collector, also has.
Loki's scepter was blue, but the stone ended up being yellow, which is weird.
Right. Well, they can't. Yeah. And then the Soul Stone, which should be green, but who knows what they're going to do.
Well, the Time Stone is green, we know, because that's in the Eye of Agamotto.
Oh, you're right. So, for all we know, that purple one could be the Soul Stone.
No, that's power.
No, it's the purple stone we know. The Soul Stone will be the last one, because that's the one where we don't know where it is.
Which is
and that'll be orange.
Yeah.
And it's interesting since, the whole stones are all redone now that all of a sudden somehow the stones in the 616 universe match the color of the movie.
I just don't want to talk about that. Do not like. But yeah, and then of course we get the final scene here with old Peter. And I like how they're making Doctor Strange's name a running joke.
Yeah.
I'm Peter, by the way.
Oh, I have a question. And I want you two to look very carefully. I do not think Peter Parker is there. I do not think Tom Holland is in this scene. I think that he is CG. Something looks off about him to me. And I think he's CG.
Doctor Strange.
Oh, you're using your made-up names. Then I am Spider-Man.
I think they're doing the lighting to make the effects of the suit, which is CG'd onto him, I'm sure, just like they do most of Iron Man's suit.
Maybe.
I'm thinking it's really blue light that they've got going on there.
Yeah, it something looks super unnatural about his facial movements. I don't know why. I mean, it's not like they CGI'd off a mustache or anything.
Oh, have you seen that video? Have you seen that video?
Hilarious.
Oh my gosh, that is
So
I haven't that is amazing. Just in case anyone was confused that Spider-Man isn't part of all this. Spider-Man's part of this. I guess that was the point of this here is, oh yeah, we got Spider-Man too.
Yeah. Well, and every reaction I see is, go Spidey! In this part. I mean, if you think about it, by the time he will have graduated high school, he will have survived the largest threat to the entire universe that's ever existed and been to multiple planets, which is not exactly how he was written in the comics, but okay, I'm fine with it.
It was college in the comics,
Yeah.
a little off. But.
No, what? No? What?
Yeah, Secret Wars, he was still at Empire State.
No, not Secret Wars, Infinity Gauntlet. Because
you said the first time he's been to because I think Secret Wars was the first time
Secret Wars is the first time he went to another planet. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Well, Infinity Gauntlet was much later in his career.
Right. That's what I was saying. I'm like,
I mean, because by the time we got to Infinity Gauntlet, Integrated Hulk was the one fighting.
Which is still what I'm hoping for, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I'm wondering if that's going to make it into the next movie.
So let's talk about who we didn't see in this trailer. There are several notable exceptions, one of whom is not even billed on the poster at all. And you're right, it's Hawkeye, which I'm totally down with because he sucks. And it's not even Hawkeye that's been in the movies anyways. It's not Hawkeye, so I don't mind him being gone. But we know that his contract is through this, and we know he shot for this. So do we think that either he was cut and left on the editing room floor because there's so many characters in there, or do we think that he's gone as a way to make people miss him, and then after half the Avengers are dead, read Steve and Tony, that he comes back to lead the Avengers or a splinter faction like West Coast Avengers or something going into the next movie?
I'm guessing we'll only see him in the Stinger of this one, and then he'll be the one marshaling the forces in the next movie.
And I'm guessing the same for Ant-Man and Wasp, because we know they exist now, but the timeline's a little wonky as to when that is. We know Captain Marvel it was going to be in the movie, but is on the cutting room floor, but will be big. And the main reason they said that they decided to cut her out of this movie was because she and Steve are pretty much the exact same character. They're both alphas that are right, and why would you say otherwise? And they're the ones pushing the good agenda. So I can see them cutting that. Who else are we missing? There's one more other person I'm wanting to say that we're missing. Ant-Man, Wasp.
Adam Warlock.
I mean, he could still be in the second one. Theoretically.
Pip the Troll.
Don't make my heart hurt.
Well, there was a confirmation somewhere I just saw that he is in the movie somewhere.
What?
Dinklage is. I saw that somewhere. I didn't save it, so I can't prove it right now. But
no, we're searching this out.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was IGN. Maybe.
Pip the Troll.
Not Pip the Troll. Not Pip, but Peter Dinklage was in.
Ooh, 13 hours ago.
Uh-oh.
Holy mother of...
Sorry. That snuck up out of nowhere.
That just lost a listener.
That would assume we had listeners.
Yeah, it's because they're deaf now. Sorry. Oh, man.
Oh, Idris Elba is going to be in it, too.
Well, that's good, because I figured, but I hadn't seen confirmation anywhere. And that's like...
over the weekend. Yeah.
One of my favorite... or one of my wife's favorites is Heimdall, so I'm super glad he's gonna make it. Oh, thank you. That's the other person that we didn't see at all. Valkyrie. She's not anywhere present in this set of trailers, and that's kind of weird to me.
The way you say Valkyrie is very weird to me. So
Valkyrie. Yeah.
One way's right, one way's wrong.
That's fine. Where does this talk about him being in?
It's he's on the poster in the way down credits on the poster apparently. Peter running around with no mask on constantly.
But if he's in there, who else could it be? I mean, he's not going to reprise his role as Trask, so because that's the wrong universe to begin with. Technically, that deal's not done yet. So
God, it has to be Pip.
It has to be Pip, and if it's Pip,
unless he's the gardener, which would be interesting if not canonically accurate, but
like I'd be down with that, but it seems like they're not doing Thanos Quest at all. So I have to think that it's got to be Pip, and if it's Pip, then we can almost guarantee that we're going to see Warlock.
God, I really imagine they're going to have to. That we're going to see Warlock in the next one.
I mean,
God, I would love that.
God, I would love it too. I mean, he's my favorite. He's one of my favorite characters. Like Thanos is my number 2, and I'd say probably Warlock is my number 3.
So here's my guess. Somehow Dinklage as Pip steals the cocoon. And you just see him kind of like wandering around with it at a couple points in the movie. I'm just kind of drinking in a hotel room and talking to it.
Oh, that's actually a really good possibility. Dinklage could play the Dwarf King Eitri that crafted Thor's hammer to give him the new hammer.
Oh no.
I agree. I don't want to. I'd rather he.
Oh, and that makes so much sense too.
It does. Damn it. I really want it to be Pep. Yeah.
I mean, when I reread it, I was like, I was reading the part in Dinklage's voice, and that was before he was even like announced as like rumored to be a part of the project.
Oh man, that's depressing kind of to me, but I'm happy. I'll still take it. I can't. This trailer is so good. All right, any other thoughts on the trailer before we move on?
It's going to be.
I'm sure we'll still end up surprised somehow because they're really good at doing that.
Yeah, I'm sure we will be as well. And if you like the video, make sure you hit the like and subscribe if you're checking out our reaction video. Otherwise, stay tuned for more goodness.
I mean, and this thing is not even. It's just slightly more than a month away at this point.
I keep this is going to be the longest month.
Yeah.
In the history of mankind for me.
No, what's going to be the longest thing is the 4 days from the first showing till I get to see the movie, where I am dodging and getting around the internet and the web like nobody's business. I'm be like Spider-Man dodging all that debris falling in the air, trying to avoid any and all information about anything.
But longer than that's going to be after the credits roll, and we realize we have to wait for another movie.
For a year.
Is it only a year or is it 2 years?
No, it's 1 year.
Are they already? Did they already film?
Yes, they've already filmed the second one.
They did it simultaneously?
Yep, they did 1 and 2, and so the setup for that year will be Captain Marvel will be in the place of Black Panther, meaning that it will come out 2 months before the next Infinity War. Oh, that's the other person we didn't see a lick of in this. Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, yeah. You're not going to see him until he comes dropping in like a mofo.
You think?
Oh, yeah. No, you won't even know he's coming until he's in your face. My secret want is like right before the snap, Coulson and Daisy show up.
No, I if they're gonna do it, which is a huge if because we know they don't talk to each other and Disney doesn't force them to talk to each other for some reason. If they're gonna do it, I would want it to be after the snap. And
yeah, with Hawkeye.
With Hawkeye, you have the whole team. I want the whole team there. I mean, Coulson and Daisy for sure, but Yo-Yo with the prosthetic arms and the rest of it. And then...
spoilers if you're not caught up.
Well, I said spoilers at the beginning. I said spoilers.
For the trailer.
Yeah. Sorry.
Nice.
But I'd want all of them there. Yeah. I'd want all of them there, and then I'd also want all the FX people. I'd want Legion there. I'd want Cloak and Dagger there. I'd want the gifted X-Men kids there.
So you're just mashing all the multiverse.
I'd want the Marvel TV, the Netflix series. I want Luke Cage. I'd want Jessica Jones. I'd want Daredevil. They should all be there because they were in the books. And this would be a way to showcase them. I'm not saying we need story arcs with them, but I'm saying
notice he didn't say Iron Fist because we don't need anybody whining.
Well, I mean, he could whine right before Thanos snaps his fingers. But no, I mean, seriously.
I'm the guardian of this. We should go there. Instead.
I mean, I really think that if they were going to do it, that's how you do it. Don't give them story arcs or anything, but they can join in the big battle. I'm still hoping for the cosmic deities myself. I mean, we've seen Celestials. you've got the Grandmaster and the Collector. They could. I mean, do we think Death is going to be in this for real?
See, I thought that that's what they were setting up with Hela.
But Hela's not. Hela's not on the same level as Death. She's just an
But
Asgardian.
right, but she was kind of set up as the ruler of the afterlife, kind of deal. Like she was the analog of it. But I'm not sure. I don't think that's really kind of happening at this point, because they especially since they turned around and said like all he ever wanted to do was just wipe out half the universe. So it's just kind of like his own thing instead of the whole trying to impress Death thing.
It makes my heart hurt.
It does a little bit, but it kind of, I don't know. It's a
They can only fit so much into a movie. And
exactly.
Yeah, but this way he just I don't know. I'm afraid that they will make him a one-dimensional villain out of this when in reality it's kind of a twisted love story. I mean, because he's doing it to appease her, and he keeps escalating these things to try and impress her.
well, and it's always been questionable. I mean, I know it's canonically actually a physical entity, but it's always kind of been played off like it could be a part of his own mental illness that, this whole vision of this woman he sees. They could play at that angle.
Well, yeah, but then how's Deadpool gonna get her affection over him? I'm just thinking down the road. Just saying.
I don't think you have to worry about that just yet.
Yeah.
We still have to deal with Mephisto first, so yeah.
No, we don't. You're talking.
Oh no,
That was
Blackheart. Sorry,
that was,
Blackheart. I get all my damn demons mixed up.
that was one that somebody floated that Dinklage could be Mephisto, which that would be awesome. I'd be okay with that.
I hadn't considered that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's talk about what we've been doing for the last week, or a couple weeks actually, because we didn't film last weekend or last week.
Or if you're Dave, like the last 6 months.
Right, that too. So yeah, let's start with you, Dave.
His list is still depressingly short.
Yeah. The reason why I haven't been on is because I haven't been able to do anything.
Lumines.
Actually, I did fire up the Vita and play that a little while ago. Actually, that's not true. I did get a new game, and I actually was playing it before we started this. The new Kirby came out for the Switch.
How is it?
Fantastic if you love Kirby games. It's a more traditional style Kirby game, so it's got like the 2D kind of mechanics to it. However, there now is a whole new friendship function in the game.
Friendship?
So instead of just absorbing the bad guys, you can actually generate a heart and throw it at them, and they become your friends. So you can actually have a team of CPU-controlled allies with you, a total of 3, and they could help you, defeat enemies. Now, what?
How long does that last? Because in most
For the
games,
level?
So you get them kind of permanently for that level.
Yeah. So you create a party, and they each have their own health bars and everything, and they can get taken out and stuff. You can switch them. So if you find somebody else,
can you inhale them while they're your friend?
I don't think so. No. Didn't seem to be friendly fire. Now, here's the fun part. So, say you are Sword, say you are Link, Kirby, and you have a sword. So, usually when you're playing that, you can just whack people with the sword and stuff like that. And when you're fully powered up, you have the beam sword, just like in Zelda. Say if you befriend somebody that shoots fire, you can hold your sword up, and they can spit fire on it. and now you have a fire sword. Huh? It's not doing anything for you?
I mean, are there more combinations than that? I mean, like, is there something like what kind of? I guess that what kind of enemies do you have? Is it just fire, ice, earth, and wind, or is it like rainbows and cool stuff you wouldn't have expected, combinations you wouldn't have expected?
I don't know. I'm just starting the game, dude.
Okay.
But so far, I've found, electricity, ice, and fire. So I don't
Can you
know if
have
it's
more
just like,
than one?
more than one what?
More
At
than
the
one
time?
modifier. Yeah, yeah.
Doesn't seem like it.
Okay.
Looks like it's just like, one at a time.
Okay.
But it's a classic kind of Kirby action with that new little twist to it. So I'm obviously a buyer of it. I'm a huge fan of that series just in general. So I'm looking forward to playing more. I haven't played enough to give you a, full review of it or anything, of course. But so far, so good.
Like based on first impressions, like what would you say out of 10?
I mean, I love Kirby games, so 9 out of 10, at least just by first play of it. But I mean, I tend to really love Kirby games, so
Got it.
so that's what you have to go by.
So is the party making critical to the game as near as you could tell, or could you just eat everything and chomp on your way like you normally would?
No, I don't know. I mean, obviously the first level I just kind of hammered through, but it seems like there could be some strategy to it. I mean, everything, people do have different abilities and everything. So like I had, a bomb thrower, I had another, like the boomerang, sword.
It's going to turn into a Lego game where you have to have a collection of abilities that you can sort through to get through the level.
I don't know. So far all I found were like, kind of like team things where you have to like have more than one person, jumping on stuff.
See, so I guess this is kind of my question is, okay,
Mhm.
I capture Fire Guy, right?
Right.
I've Pokemon the Fire Guy. He's now my friend and in my team. I complete that level. I move on to the next level. Can I resummon Fire Guy, or do I only have to use what's in that level?
No, they travel with you to the overworld.
Okay. So it is
there's
truly
like an overworld map. There's like an
Pokemon
overworld
Kirby.
map. Yeah, there's an overworld map, and you have a party that follows you from level to level.
And do they level up as time goes on, or they're just there and you can swap them out?
I think they're just there. I don't think there's a level up
And if
kind of thing.
if you change your party and Fire Guy is no longer in the party, can you recall him, or do you have to go back to where you caught him and catch a new one?
You have to find a new one.
Okay.
Usually you're swapping out for like different things. And also you can also power up. Like one time I was the ice guy. So I had the ice breath. And I actually modified all my party's weapons. So it goes both ways.
That's cool.
It is cool.
Now, is that menu driven or context driven or
in game? It's just a controller function. You just press
a different button than the normal attack, I assume. So if you're just normally ice breathing things and you accidentally blow over one of your guys, you don't automatically.
You have to press up. Mm-hmm. So pressing up holds up your weapon, and that keys them into that. Tips them off into modifying your weapon.
Does it make the Zelda sound when you do it, like da na na na?
No.
Disappoint.
No.
Even if you're Zelda
Kirby.
Even if you're Zelda Kirby?
Yeah, no, it doesn't happen. It's a Kirby game.
What, did you play anything else?
I did. I downloaded the Switch came out with the Pac-Man Champion Edition.
The old one or the new one?
It's more the new one. Which is kind of disappointing. I thought the old one might have been in there. And the old one was just a little bit cleaner. It's it's still good. It's still enjoyable, and they added some new tweaks to it, which is fine. There's actually like a tutorial thing you go through, and I still like it. But man, they did it right the first time, and I'd like to be able to get that one. But it's like that game doesn't exist except for the PS3 anymore, so I have to just play it on there. A little upset about that.
I thought there was a PS4 version of it too.
There is, but it's the second one.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the first one. Huh.
No.
And I know the Vita and PSP versions are different.
Right. So it's kind of like...
Did you play anything else?
I'm trying to think. I introduced my son to the PS4. He was playing Peggle and Flower. So that was pretty fun.
One game that you push a button and things happen. Another game you push a button and pure luck as to whether something useful happens or not. So those are good options.
Yeah. It was totally perfect options. And of course, like he, did a couple things on Peggle. I'm like, huh. I was like, this game really is luck. But he was having a lot of fun with it, so it was pretty cool. He was also playing, I have a RetroPie I set up. So we were playing some classic games on that. I found some like some Sesame Street games on there. Old like Mickey Mouse games and stuff because he's into Mickey Mouse and everything. But it was kind of funny because like there was a part where one of the games where Mickey Mouse was sleeping, and I guess he kind of goes in like dream world or something like that. And he kept saying, I want to go back to make Mickey take a nap. And I'm like, huh. Yeah, that's not happening, dude. I don't know what to tell you. And he was just like, no, I want Mickey to take a nap. And I'm like,
not an open world game, kid. Sorry.
Yeah. I was like, wow, yeah, this is, how do I explain this? So it's been kind of interesting introducing him to games already. I think it's a little early for it, but he seems to get a kick out of it when we play it.
Well, that's cool.
And that's about it. I'm still trying to slog through Alter Carbon before I watch that series. And it's just slow moving because I get so tired at night, and reading at night has been very tough. Yeah, that's about it.
Well, Matt, what about you?
Well, I went to write my list of games I've been playing since the last time we had a cast, and depressingly, it's been one game.
Nice.
Yeah, it just this way life has been working. I just don't have a lot of gaming time, and it's just been. I decided to go through and finish off a second playthrough of Dust and Elysian Tale because all I needed was one more trophy to get the plat, which I finished the other day. So I got the platinum on that.
But that's why you were recommending that one.
Yeah, because I've been playing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really, really solid indie Metroidvania Samurai Rabbit game. It's older. It was on PC first, and then was ported to the PlayStation. I would highly recommend it if you like Metroidvanias. It's got a really solid story for a little indie title that was primarily developed by one guy. Surprisingly good voice acting. One of the best, if not the best, sidekick characters in all of gaming. Whenever your sidekick character just tells you to mash all the buttons, you've got a quality game on your hands there.
Yeah, now I know why you say this game was made for me.
It really was. If you are going to play for trophies, go ahead and pop the difficulty level up 1. Because that will allow you to get everything but one trophy in your first run through. If you want, you'll have to replay the first maybe hour of the game to get the last trophy, because there's one that's a binary. You can only do one way each playthrough, but it's achievable within an hour, maybe 2, if you're just mainlining it, especially if you go on a lower difficulty for that second run. Doing it the way I did is much harder because going from normal to difficult or normal to tough or whatever it's called is quite a jump. And I managed to get through the whole game in about half the time it took me to play through the whole game in 117, which is 100% for the game. 100. So it does one of those. That's the percentage of. It's some game, some old game that you could get 117% was the 100% of that game. So that's a throwback. There's a lot of throwback stuff in the game to older games. There's a spot where you kneel. Well, I don't know if I want to say it, but there's a really weird, obscure thing you could do in Castlevania 2, and that's homaged in the game.
Nice.
Really solid game. Nice, amazing art style. Very, very colorful. The hand-drawn animation scenes where there's just a few of them are very simplistic, but are very well done. And again, I'm baffled by how good the voice acting in this game was, even compared to some of there's a couple of spots where the dialogue flounders, but by and large, it's pretty amazing. So, really enjoyed that game. I have to imagine it's pretty cheap these days. I haven't looked at what it costs, but was that a plus game? I don't even know how I ended up with this game. I don't know if I bought it. I don't know if it was a plus game.
I know I
don't know.
bought it, but I think it was a plus game.
So, but yeah, I would say, it's probably 8.5 out of 10, give or take. There is one spot in the game that crashes consistently, which, probably should ding it more than I am dinging it for, but all you got to do is mash X to get through the dialogue sequence and you're fine. So play through it slowly once to get all the dialogue and all the story out of it, and then it'll crash. And then the next time you go through it, just mash X really fast so that it skips the dialogue and you're good. Yeah. So then that's really all I've played. I've been watching some of the stuff the kids have been playing. Mitchell was home for one day. Yeah, his spring break, he got to come home for one day. So he tried out the PSVR. He wasn't super impressed, to be honest. I mean, he had some fun with some of the things, but he wasn't the things that you usually see with people, like the ideas of scope and immersion, just really didn't. You watch that stupid invasion movie and short film. And the first time I watched it and that rabbit got right up next to me and the rabbit's like as tall as I am, and like, holy big rabbit, and that didn't phase him. Trico didn't phase him. It's like, okay, fine. You are so 19. Geez. Finished Jessica Jones season 2. In a lot of ways, I actually preferred it to season 1.
Oh, well, there's a lot. Yeah.
Honestly, I wish they would allow themselves to break away from the 13 episode format, because I think this would have been perfect at about 10. Not that there was a lot of wasted time, but there were times where I'm like, yeah, this conversation is going on longer than it needed to. But it wasn't bad, but I think it could have been a little tighter.
Without any spoilers, I can say this, and it's no spoiler whatsoever. I'm 100% confident. But I called that story arc for Trish. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. I think we all knew that was coming. I had to explain that to Mitchell because he didn't get it. But yeah, so I enjoyed that. Again, by and large, I would say season 2 was better than season 1.
It was just paced a lot better.
Yeah, it was. And the third to last episode was brilliant.
Which one are we?
One might even say it was, what was his catchphrase? Fantastic? I think that was his catchphrase, was fantastic. You might say it's Alonzi, but that doesn't make any sense. So.
Oh, right.
Nice.
Yes. Okay. I know what you're talking about. Yes. Yes. Thank you.
I started. I solicited a bunch of recommendations for something to watch while I was on the elliptical, and it turns out that none of the shows that were recommended are on Netflix. And since the device I have downstairs only streams Netflix, I decided to start watching The Magicians again. I made it past 3 episodes, so I made it further than I made it the first time I tried to watch this show. Beginning's a little rough. I can see where it's maybe going to come together. So
we finished it, which is on my list to talk about, but we finished the second season, and it is both predictable and unpredictable at the same time. I was almost positive that I knew how the end of season 1 was going to go, what the big reveal was. I was wrong, which was nice, because a lot of shows are super predictable in that way. But then there's little things that you 100% predict and are easy to predict. But I will say, if you hang in there and make it through the end of season 2, I think that is a very well done ride. Also, my most dreamed about TV show probably in the last 15 years. Every time we would watch an episode and I would go to sleep, I would dream about it all night long.
Weird. Wow. Crazy. Huh. So yeah, I've been watching that while I'm on the elliptical. So that's we're creeping through that. I think I'm like 5 episodes in or something like that. I've still been watching Beyond, which is one of the freeform fantasy sci-fi-ish shows they've got going right now. The beginning of the season was pretty weak, but it's really picked up now. So now I'm kind of interested again. So I'm probably stuck watching it till the end of the season. And then believe it or not, if you would have told me that watching what, no, well, I'm actually intrigued by it. I mean, the promos, the last promo I saw that was on Sci-Fi actually made me very intrigued by the show. And the fact that it's tied to the current Man of Steel version of Superman and stuff means I have nothing to lose by watching the show.
Don't you technically also have nothing to gain?
True, but it might be an entertaining ride, which can't be said of, most of the DCEU movies. But not even that, but the Premier League dart season is upon us apparently. And I often have the TV left on BBC America because they'll have things like Blue Planet or Planet Earth or stuff like that on it. It's usually just kind of background noise filler, whatever on. But the Premier League Dart Championship season is going. And if you would have told me, I would be completely intrigued watching people play 500. I would have told you you're insane. But when you're in like a soccer stadium and these guys throwing darts are like at one end of the soccer stadium and the camera looks back and the entire place is packed with drunk Europeans all screaming about people playing darts. I don't know. It draws you in. And the funny thing is, and this is not even kidding. The highest score you can get in 500 is 180. Triple 20 3 times. Each of the score callers, because there's a guy there with a microphone calling the score after the darts are thrown. Each of them has their own distinctive way that they call 180. But it's always this like huge, like, let's get ready to rumble, over the top, like scream into the microphone, insane thing. And you're sitting there watching, 1 second, and they'll get like one dart in the triple 20s. Ooh, and they'll get the second dart in the triple 20s, and the camera zooms in on the triple 20. So like all you can see is the triple 20 part of the ring. And then you're just sitting there waiting for that third dart to hit. And are they good to get to scream 180 or not? And there is something so addictive about waiting for those guys to scream 180 at the top of their manly lungs. I can't even describe it. Yes, Mr. Mark.
Are these called D sports?
Dart sports? I have no idea. No, it's
yeah.
But no, if you told me I would sit there and for like a half hour, not even meaning to, watching people throw darts, I would have said you're crazy. And I totally
that's
done
how
it
I
more
ended
than
up
once.
watching professional wrestling.
Well, now these guys all have like a personality. They all got a theme, you know, they've all got their thing, you know, they're like NASCAR set up almost. There's this one guy with a red mohawk who, like, if he loses, he won't shake anybody's hands. You know, it's a whole
totally professional
thing.
wrestling, I'm telling you. Because
yeah,
when I used to travel for work, I would go to all these different places, and this was really before the ubiquity of cable TV at that point. But there were a couple channels. It was TNT and what was Raw on? USA. TNT and USA were the only two channels that I could get in almost every hotel, no matter where it was in the United States. And what would be on when I got in at 9 p.m. at night on Monday nights? It would be wrestling. And that's and exactly like you said, there was a guy with a mohawk who was not nice and would not talk to people, and then there was a guy who, you know, was a giant who, you know, so that's how I started watching wrestling. Congratulations, you started on your path.
I don't think I'll end up going that deep down the rabbit hole, but it's just, you just sit there and it is really interesting. You don't even really care what the score is. You just want to hear the guy scream 180.
And next thing
and
you know,
the entire stadium erupts when that happens.
And next thing you know, Mae Young is giving birth to a glove. That's all I'm saying. Dave knows what I'm talking about.
Dave probably is a darts master. That seems like a very East Coast thing. He goes to the bars and hustles darts at night.
I will say that every time I'm at like one of those carnival things, that's the game that I always win on.
So is that while you're eating Scrapple?
Scrapple is not to be trifled with. I'm sorry.
This is such a Pennsylvania thing. It's not even funny.
I love how like nobody in the thread that wasn't from Pennsylvania knew what the hell Scrapple was, and all of the rest of us were going,
The thing that's crazy
mushy
about
sausage? I don't know what it is.
the thing that's crazy about it, it seems like something that would be so much more of a Midwest thing.
It does, yeah.
Because it seems like something that, like, you know, a hunter would make out of the leftovers.
I mean, it's just really weird meatloaf is what it really is. I mean, it sounds like, based on what I read about it.
It's like a breakfast meat mush.
Breakfast meat
Sounds delicious.
See, it's a thing. There's nothing, and I've seen it made.
I'm changing the name of this episode to Breakfast Meat Mush. I'm just saying.
We're talking about bizarre Pennsylvanian breakfast meats and darts. What have we become?
Yeah. But oh God, it's so good. Especially when it's like I've seen people mess it up where it's just like they don't like fry it up enough, and it's awful.
Is that
when you make
Scrapple?
It's Crapple at that point.
Yeah, that's what I was. Thank you.
I used to do that when I worked at a place. I had a pen that was the same color as the label, and I used to fill in the S, so it would just be called Crapple. That actually happened.
So do you drink Snapple with Scrapple?
No, never.
That was actually much more difficult to pronounce than I was actually expecting.
Anticipating. So yeah, let's see. I think that pretty much ties it up. Oh, we finally finished. We watched the last episode of Castle. Finally.
Wow. You stuck with it till the end, huh?
No, we're still like a season behind.
And that's weird too, because that season finale at that point, they didn't know that the show was going to get canceled. So that the way that the season ends is even weirder, considering they didn't know that the show was going to get canceled at that point in time.
How did they not know when they had fired half the cast?
But that didn't happen until after the season. Well, okay. Maybe it happened before the last episode aired. I thought it didn't happen until after the last episode aired.
No, because she wasn't in like the last half of the season, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was. Oh yeah, she was 100% in until the very end. They were going to do a half season that was just him.
Oh.
But then it all fell apart after that.
Yeah.
Which, I'm surprised that didn't hurt his brand more, because that whole thing was very Nathan Fillion brand. kind of giving you a glimpse into maybe he's not quite this, wonderful, lovable geek guy that we've been led to believe.
Well, or he is, and maybe she's not the nicest person in the world.
She's Russian, so
it's a he said, she said. So I mean, I don't want to draw any. I'm not defending anybody or putting anybody down.
No, I'm just surprised in the environment we're in that didn't do more damage to his brand. But
yeah. Well,
I did forget to mention one thing, actually.
What's that?
I've been kind of on my own Infinity Stone quest. And I'm almost complete.
Except yours is bought with cold hard cash.
Yes.
And lots of it.
So Lego released the new Marvel sets for Infinity War. And there was a set that comes with, Thanos. So I had to have that because, I collect a lot of things Thanos. And it comes with the gauntlet in the set. So I thought, perfect. Well, here, the theme of the sets is, he's collecting the stones. So each set contains one of the stones. I only had 2 of the sets. So I was like, oh, damn it. That's how they got me this time, because I really thought I was going to...
Are they not just standard studs that you could just...
They're not. They're specific little stones.
Okay.
They had to make up market share somehow. Their value is down this last earnings call. They're like,
yeah, because you can't keep growing. That's all it was. I mean, they've been on a meteoric.
If they had the reality stone, they could.
Yeah. Well, so tomorrow the other 2 sets show up. So because I actually went to the Lego store on my lunch break the one day, and they didn't have all the sets.
I love how he always says that he's going to be pulling back on his Lego purchases and he's going to be, more reserved.
No.
Never holds up.
This was different.
Yeah, this is different.
Wow. Let's see. Talk like an addict much?
No, not an addict. This was different. This was Thanos, man.
No. Right.
Neither was Trish when she was doing what she was doing. Totally not an addict.
Not an addict.
It's the Infinity Gauntlet. You have to have the Infinity Gauntlet.
Listen, man, Lego. I went to that site that will not be named that has the stuff, and they have a new Thanos figure that's coming out here shortly. $900. And oh my God, it's giant sized and it's amazing. If you've not seen it, he's sitting on a on a throne of techno skulls. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think I can't even look at that.
You need to look at it. It's fantastic. In fact, I might actually look it up in here.
Nice. I have the what's the I guess the old, was it like Marvel Direct series or something like that? That was like the nice series of figures. Or Marvel Selects or something like that. I don't know. There was a real nice Thanos they did years ago. And I had that in a box. And my son and I were downstairs in the basement, and he was playing. And he points in the box, and he was like, "What's that?" Whoa.
Yeah.
That's more than you said, too.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's more than you said.
My bad.
Is it actually lit? Is it?
Yeah.
Really
Lower.
Loud.
Yeah.
Is the eyes lit?
I don't think so. I think that's just an effect for that.
If that's effect, that's annoying. Well, for $1,200.
It should be lit up for $1,200.
Yeah, exactly.
Maquette. I love how all these statues have weird terminological names.
Thanos is one of the darkest characters in the Marvel Universe. A character who can take on the entire Marvel Universe with a grin. There's something really arch-villain about that.
Like a lot of comic book characters, especially big guys, he's got a huge physical presence. What's interesting is most of the time he's depicted sitting, so you get a sense that he's very powerful, but it's not necessarily overt.
He's the Marvel Universe villain to me. He's the Mad Titan. It's cool to have that opportunity where we can kind of take the subject matter
and I wouldn't
put our
normally
own
go
little
through
touch
this,
on it.
but
So what we did was we
watching
went
the
back
process
some
of
the
what they
original
do,
source material
you get to
from
see
Jim
the
Starlin
scale
or
of it.
from
It's
Ron
kind of
Lim,
crazy.
and find those key aspects to the character and to their costume that make them who they are, and try and evolving the design.
Yeah, I remember years ago when we were watching Avengers,
say, like, what
and that
does
little
this
stinger
need
trailer hit
without
at the
going,
end,
like, over the edge,
and you were
or,
just like,
reinventing the wheel.
We've taken amalgamation of our own and made it our own, and it's kind of all the best qualities that Thanos has.
It was critical that from 10 feet back or 15 feet back, there was no question this was Thanos.
The interesting thing about Thanos is he has a long history. So how do you get the density, the sense of history in that one image?
There were a couple things that we really wanted to get across in the personality of the piece. One was this regal sense, and that's why we went for throne. But we also wanted him to be really intimidating.
We wanted the piece itself to have a presence, and if you had it next to another PF, it would be formidable.
In sitting him down, he still feels
What's a
intimidating.
PF?
Still feels like
That's what I was
the
wondering.
huge Mad Titan that he is.
Professional.
Look how big it is.
Holy son of a monkey!
Yeah.
Because it's, you've got Thanos.
is that the
which is
2-up or is that the real thing?
equally
That's
as
the real
awesome.
thing.
It's got a lot of complexity.
Because they
a
often
lot of
have like a
detail.
2-up
Not only is this character powerful
when they're
physically,
initially working on it.
he's powerful technologically. And so I wanted the throne to represent all of that.
I wanted to push the level of color and also bring a cosmic outer galaxy look to this thing. So purplish metallic tone that goes back to his skin.
Look how
They
big
had
it
to
is.
design that entire paint job the same way as we had to design the entire sculpt with all the layers of detail. They had the exact same process to go through.
I think everyone involved found something that they didn't know they had. And I think that's what makes it exceptional.
Seeing this piece come to life has been awesome. It's been inspiring.
I'm hopeful that fans, when they look at it, they'll see we were as true to the classic as we could be, while understanding our ambition to push the piece as well. When you look at the portraits, there's definitely Jim Starlin and Ron
See, and I think
Lim
it comes with
written all
multiple
over them.
heads too.
It is a team effort. It
Which
is
is
a
badass.
collaboration of many hands that make this all happen.
Everyone involved just put their A game on with this piece, and so it's definitely a testament to what we're able to do and achieve.
I really feel like the risk we took in stepping forward on this project and through the process with a couple of unknowns really to me is paid off.
Okay, yeah, they're just painted. They're not
Yeah.
lit.
There is
I'm
a
sorry, for that
level
money, they
of
should be lit.
service that we have to give to the fans.
This was not going to be a project where we cut any corners.
All the fans out there know what this guy looks like. They expect a certain.
I love that his
quality
right
look
hand
to
is
this
embedded
character.
in the chair.
When people see this piece, I hope that they'll see Thanos in a new way.
I mean, if I had $1 million,
And you know that one guy at the store would buy it because he bought like every statue ever of everything.
Yeah, that I mean, I saw that and I was like, oh my god, I want it so bad. It looks so badass.
I mean, considering the size and the fact that each one of them is hand painted, the price is actually not disproportionate to what it should be.
The worst part is that there's only 3,500 of them, so that secondhand market price is going to go up over $5,000 probably.
Yeah, but oh man, who's gonna?
Dude, there are people.
I always say that, and then it always shocks me.
Yeah, it's
Like when I bought the Falcon, and I saw what people were paying for that. When this was not something that was limited. This was like they knew it was coming back in stock at some point, and people were still paying like twice as much.
Oh my God! Look, it's got the freaking writing on his arm.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. God.
Okay, stop torturing yourself and move on.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, so did you watch anything else?
I probably did, but I don't remember what it was by the time I started to try to write my list. I've been trying to do better about, doing it real time, but I was bad this last couple of weeks. So, that's all I got right now.
Right.
Just, trailers. Keep on watching trailers. All the trailers.
Burnout Paradise came out. I got that. It's really, really good. It's exactly what you remember from Burnout. So
Burnout Paradise, right? I mean, which was a great game. I mean,
it's a fantastic game, and this has all the DLC, all 8 DLC packs, including the extra island. But what that means is I have the Back to the Future car from Moment 1.
I was just trying to say does it actually include that DLC as well?
Yeah. It means that all the races, there's no hope for the AI, because I am going over 88 miles an hour, leaving trails in my hover car. So I'm burning up through the license ranks pretty quickly. But it's a lot of fun. It doesn't look as high res as I had hoped, but they haven't reprogrammed it. They just kind of made, I don't know exactly what they did. It looks pretty. It's just not like, it's not that same reaction you got the first time you looked at Burnout Paradise, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, where it's like, oh my God, I've never seen anything this pretty in my life ever. You don't have that, but it's still really solid. Whether or not that's worth $40 to you is up to you, but I would probably say at this point, I'd call it a strong 8 out of 10. I've been playing a little Sword Coast Legends, which I'm the only person on the PSN playing it, which kind of makes me sad, but
nice.
Yeah. Star Trek Online, they announced today that the next expansion is going to be Deep Space Nine related, and they're bringing 10 actors on board to do full voiceovers and all that stuff, so that's kind of interesting.
Speaking of voiceovers, did you see the GDC video with Circus that dropped later today?
No, I heard about it, but I did not see it.
Oh my Lord. Real-time lip syncing motion capture.
Wow.
It's insane, with no dots, no marks, anything, just a camera pointing to his face.
Hey, that's the nice part about this show, is that we can look at that right now. Yeah, I ran into Greg Miller yesterday as we were coming out of Black Panther. He was going into the theater that I was at to watch. There's basically a GDC set of movies and showcases that they were doing at the Alamo Drafthouse, so he was there for that. GDC Andy Serkis. Digital Andy Serkis at GDC. Let's see. La 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 la.
Of course, it doesn't have the actual video.
Are you kidding me? How do you? What?
That's probably the second one there, maybe, with the video.
Yeah, it's got to be. Performances can be tweaked live. Actors' bodies can be swapped. I'm all for it. Let's see it.
Does it show if it's the side-by-side one? Because that's the one we want.
Tomorrow.
No, this is the one that's just him. We want the side-by-side one.
And tomorrow creeps in this.
That looks good. The eyes are a little.
From day to day, to the last.
That's the dude from Black Panther.
Recorded time.
But the side-by-side one shows it mapped to his human face, and then it shows him mapped to an alien face. and it shows how one performance can be mapped to multiple models.
I'll find it.
Brief candle.
Of course, that's is that Macbeth or is that Henry VIII?
That is Macbeth.
That's Macbeth, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh nope, it was there. Damn it, it was the next one down. I saw it. Go back. There.
Yeah, there it is. And of course, we have commercials.
Of course we do, because
which will probably get us globally banned or something because YouTube loves doing that.
No, but if we talk over it, it should be fine.
Just mute.
No, they do it on video now.
You have to recompress the video size and all that stuff. This is something we're doing for the wrestling one, so we can have entrances. Whoa, what just happened?
That was weird.
Yeah, why did it
stop
being full screen?
Because stuff sucks.
Tomorrow. And tomorrow. And tomorrow. Creeps in this petty pace. From day to day. To the last syllable recorded time. And all our yesterdays of lighted fools.
But is this live or is this pre-rendered just remapped onto a different body?
Well, what is supposed to be allegedly, of course, we don't see him performing, but it's supposed to be them reacting real time to him performing in front of the camera. That's what it's supposed to be.
A poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage.
And it's not perfect. You can see some spots where it's a little glippy that they'd have to
it's pretty
smooth out
doggone
in
good.
post, but yeah.
I mean, the thing, I remember I was just watching Thor Ragnarok. And, obviously they're using this kind of stuff for Ruffalo to, actually play, Hulk. And it's weird because you're sitting there looking at it. It's just like a big green Ruffalo, you can see it's Mark Ruffalo now, playing it. And it's really crazy how far they've come with that stuff. But it's actually kind of cool because years ago, I remember the big fear was that they were just going to animate everything and the acting wasn't going to really be as big of a factor.
And now it's you just skin the actor.
And now what's happened is you still, now it's just another vessel for the actor to really come all the way through, which I think is actually pretty cool because it doesn't take the art out of it and it actually, enhances it. So, it's just another tool for an actor to do something crazy.
So yeah, I played that. I played Shadow of the Colossus a little bit, and then I went on a weird iPhone game kick. I decided I wanted to find a D&D game for the iPhone, and so I ended up going through a bunch of different games to try and find what I was looking for, because I was looking for something like the old Baldur's Gate or whatever, and I'm like, oh, I'll just download Baldur's Gate, except that there are no zoom controls on the phone, so it's so teeny tiny that you can't play it.
That's funny.
So that was no good. So I ended up going through Battlejack, which is a blackjack RPG, which actually has some interesting things, but it's got a lot of free-to-play hooks built into it, which I'm not super enthused about. But it is fun, and I do like it. Battleheart Legacy, Demon's Rise, and then I played more Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. That game is still continuing to be good, although I am playing a little bit less. Then something happened this week, which we talked about. No, actually, I guess
before you get to that, do we want to talk about how bad the Terra beta was, or do we just want to say the Terra beta was bad and move on?
Oh, actually, it was not. They fixed. Oh, okay, so Terra had 2 betas. The first one was super bad. Matt played in it. How long did you play? Like an hour?
Oh, I got to the point where you're supposed to get on the Pegasus and fly to the main city, and then it crashes or enters an endless loop of warping. And then I said, "Screw this," and moved on. Even though I had a kick-ass, badass Badger Raccoon Warrior, which was awesome.
Yeah. So I only played. I don't know. I played a little more than that because I had 2 characters on 2 different servers up to level 27 and 19, I think. But that's still not a ton because the leveling goes really quick in that game. And it was horrible. Every 5 minutes, either the game would crash or it would lock and you'd have to restart. It was absolutely horrible. But for the people who kept the beta on their system and didn't delete it, they held another beta the next week and they fixed everything.
Oh, really?
So
I didn't get notified of that. So it's still on my computer. That's weird. Okay.
Yeah,
or my PS4 rather.
So there's just a tiny bit of lag when you go into the congested cities, but it's not anything like the original closed technical test was, where you couldn't walk through the city. They fixed everything, and so I played it for a couple hours, long enough to get the participation award. And then I was like, I don't want to play anymore because I actually don't want to play anymore until the game actually comes out, which should be somewhat soon. But yes, they fixed everything. So that second one ran perfectly good. So I'm actually very enthused about the state of that game now. I was not after the technical, because it was worse in that open beta than it was during the closed technical. Like, it was freezing and locking all the time. It was horrible.
Yeah, and then they had to give you the book to teleport because the portals didn't work. And
no, the Pegasus. Well, and the Pegasus, same thing.
Yeah,
the Pegasus was Pegasi. I don't know.
Pegasus.
And then thanks for reminding me about Terra, because I forgot to put it on the list. And then Fortnite came out for iOS, and I'm like, really? Because it actually has PC crossplay. Like, you're playing with the PC players and PS4 players. And I'm like, really? You're going to be able to do this on a mobile device? Yeah, it's not bad, actually. But then I found out today that PlayerUnknown Battleground launched on iOS. And I was like, really? And sure enough, it's actually really good. The thing that doesn't work is the fact that those rounds are not mobile friendly. Because, if you're doing well at the game, those rounds can be 30, 35 minutes or longer. And I started at work and made it all the way home on the trolley, and then had to walk farther, and I was still like at number 10, and I wasn't done by the time I made it all the way to my house. Somebody's gonna die crossing the street because you can't look up from your phone for even a split second, or otherwise you could be sniped in the head. And so it's like, the controls are fine, the inventory system is fine. I did not think they would be able to pull that off. I'm really surprised at how good they both are. So I still think you're going to get trounced by a keyboard and mouse player, but for what it is, I'm pretty doggone impressed at how good they are.
There was some articles later today that there's some sort of, I don't know if it's conspiracy theory or what you want to call it, but that the mobile matches for PUBG, you're not actually, most of the people in the game aren't people, that they're mostly bots. So you're playing against bots and mobile players, and that's why people are doing so well, is because you're primarily playing against bots. But I don't know that that's been confirmed or not.
I can't speak to whether or not there are bots, but I can tell you that in the matches I've played, they act like people. Talk like crabs, act like people. That's South Park. And then as for what I watched the Infinity War trailer legit 300 plus times. I have watched like almost every React video that has come out, because there is something sheer joy about watching other people see it for the first time, and I sort of relive the amazement I had the first time that I watched it. It's super good. I think it's like one of the best trailers for anything I've ever watched. That editing, especially like in the middle at the crescendo of the music, that is like that is the most primo thing I think I've ever seen. Every time you watch it, you're like, yeah, let's go. I'm super stoked for that movie.
They are trailer masters.
Yes, they are. I'm also now setting up a marathon.
Had a lot of practice
to watch all 18 of the movies, 35 hours in total.
It's okay. You can skip Guardians of the Galaxy too. It's not really important.
Well, if I was gonna skip one, I'd skip the Incredible Hulk, but I plan on watching even that one.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Come on.
I plan on watching the Incredible Hulk.
The Incredible Hulk is not bad.
It's not. I really liked it, but it is in the big scheme of things skippable. If I was gonna skip one, that would probably be it.
I'd say Iron Man 2, but Sam Rockwell doing that take the bird away scene was the best.
I'd say 2 and 3, really, but that's just me.
Yeah, but you got Guy Pearce in 3. He's kind of awesome.
And you have Magma Pots.
Which actually wasn't terrible, and I really hate Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah,
I love Iron Man 3. It's possibly the best of the 3 Iron Man movies.
No, dude. No.
Iron Man 1 by far and away is the best.
Yeah, they're two very different kinds of movies. That's the problem. They're hard to compare because even though they're in the same series of movies, they're very different style of movie.
We finished The Magicians. I already talked about that. We watched Black Panther yesterday. It was Lexi's first time. She cried like 5 times. She thought her heart was going to explode during the middle of the movie. She gets why everybody's going ape about it and how it's good. The question is, will it be dethroned this weekend? Because it is now 5 weekends in a row, which is super rare as the #1 movie. And Pacific Rim is coming out this weekend, and it has...
And the scores are tanking already.
Yeah, the scores are tanking. They're saying without Guillermo del Toro, it is super lacking. But we know about critics versus people. Will there be enough to dethrone it? And will it have a 6th week in a row? It'll be interesting to watch.
I think if something overtakes it, it'll be like one of the movies that like 2 or 3 weeks ago were supposed to overtake it. I don't think it'll be Pacific Rim.
Yeah, the first Pacific Rim was 71% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
And that
movie's
critics.
Amazing.
Yeah, and that movie was pretty doggone good.
Yeah.
I'm
horrible, but it's amazing.
Like I get why all the critics wouldn't, like that movie, being what it is. But the thing is, it's still got 71%, which is a really respectable score when we're talking about a critic score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoiler for the end of Pacific Rim 1. If you haven't seen it, don't listen to the next words out of my mouth. But sorry, they should have all died from the bends. But beyond that, it was good. It was an okay movie.
Really? That's your takeaway from the first movie?
That was totally... Like, I was spinning in my chair in the theater going, that is not how pressurization works. They should be dying right now.
Because when humanity makes giant combat mechs, they can't figure out a depressurization model to deal with the bends.
Yes.
When you confuse 2 minds together into a single consciousness.
That wasn't an issue?
No, that was fine. It's the bends.
That stuff wasn't an issue? Monsters coming out of a crack in the ocean from an alternate dimension?
Dimensional hole in the bottom of the Pacific
floor. The
floor.
Marianas Trench. Yeah, I'm all right with those.
The guy from Always Sunny jacking into an alien consciousness. Totally cool with that.
Yeah.
Ron Perlman coming back out of the body of a dead alien that ate him to get his goddamn shoe. That's fine.
Yeah.
Just the bends.
Just the bends. That was the straw for me.
No, just
the fact that they went the whole movie with a sword and never used it till the very end.
Which seems like it'd be crucial. That seems like it'd be a good one to break out. like right away.
I like the first battle. I was like, why doesn't it have a sword? I have to wait the whole freaking movie for the thing to have a sword.
See, now I want to go back and watch, because was it pressurized? Because I thought it was just an escape pod at the end.
But it was like a capsule, though.
It doesn't matter.
But
it was like the cockpit. You know, it was like
no, it does matter because they were outside of it, meaning that it wasn't pressurized.
It doesn't.
Yeah, it does. It totally matters. Anyways,
it doesn't. You know,
they were breathing fluid.
We also watched The Incredibles. It was Lexi's first time watching that last night. She
really?
Wow. Yeah. That's one of the reasons. For my birthday, she watched a bunch of movies. That's actually what we did. Is because I'd already seen Black Panther, I'd already seen Incredible, and she also watched Coco for the first time, and she cried like pretty much nonstop through the whole movie because that is the best. Coco is the best Pixar movie ever made.
I have it on order. It should be coming in. I miss seeing it in the movies.
I haven't seen it. Incredibles is still my favorite Pixar movie, but
I will tell you that I think Coco will surpass it once you see it. Like,
it's got a good chance because I absolutely love that whole motif, the whole Day of the Dead thing.
That's same for
How did you not see this in the theaters?
What's that?
Of all people, how did you not see this in the theaters? I mean, I understand why I didn't, but how did you miss it?
Time. I just don't. And then
I want to break out into Hootie and the Blowfish right now, but I'll save everybody and not. So
I only want to be with you.
No time, dude.
I know. I specifically went the other way. Yeah.
I thought it was funny. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And then the last thing on my list, Muppet Guys Talking. If you have not seen this, it's Frank Oz gets a bunch of the original Muppet creators together, and they kind of do a Kevin Smith comic book guys talking, but about the Muppets.
I heard about that and I forgot about it. I got to check that out.
If you have not seen it, that's pretty good.
Have you watched any of the Ron Paulson clips where he gets voice actors together and they do a different character's voice? Well, they'll do like Pulp Fiction with Pinky and the Joker or something like, they'll get somebody in that does their voice, does a voice of a very iconic character that they did, and then they'll pick a scene from something else and they'll do it, and they can usually barely hold it together as they're saying the line.
You're talking about the Talking Tunes from Nerdist thing, right?
The
guy that played
Rob Paulson,
right?
Yeah.
So it's the guy who did the voice of Yakko.
Yakko and Wacko and God knows how many other. He's like, if you've watched a cartoon, he's probably been in it.
Yeah,
he's prolific.
Nothing beats the one-off short they did where Mark Hamill was kidnapped by the Trickster and the Joker.
Oh yeah, that was
the greatest piece of animation I've ever seen in my life.
He's doing like the voice of all the characters.
That's so good.
I don't know. Oh, Kevin Conroy reads the Dark Knight speech. No, that's not.
Oh, that's one of them too. But Rob Paulson does an updated version of the.
Oh yeah, I saw that one. I was looking for one of the swaps you were talking about though. This one, the Batman and Joker takeover for Toy Story.
Oh, the Anakin one where he's got Seth Green in there doing the role of Anakin as Chris from Family Guy.
Let's see if we can.
That's hilarious.
Oh, it's only 2 minutes, so that must be just that.
Yeah, I think it's just that.
All right, we'll wait for Dave.
Because you have
Dave,
to
I'm just going to do Obi-Wan as Pinky. I've always wanted to do that. So then okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. And I'm going to even read in the stuff. Let her go, Anakin. Dramatic pause. Let her go, Narv.
You turned her against me.
I think he killed it.
Oh my God.
That's funny.
It is. No, you have done that yourself.
No, you will not take her from me.
Your anger Oh, you can look at these guys. Okay. Your anger and your lust for power have already done that. Dramatic pause. You have allowed this Dark Lord to twist your mind such as it is until now, until you have become the very thing you swore to destroy. Point.
Don't lecture me, Obi-Wan. I see through the lies of the Jedi. I do not fear the dark side as you do. I have brought peace and freedom and justice and security to my new empire.
Oh, God, Brian, you were the genius for picking this. All right. Your new empire.
Don't make me kill you.
Too late. Anakin, my allegiance is to the Republic, to democracy.
Well, if you're not with me, then you are my enemy.
Only a flip deal for the absolute. Flip. I will do what I must.
You will try.
Seth Green.
Rob Paulson.
I don't know what's funnier, Seth Green's interpretation or Rob losing it.
Yeah, constantly.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I haven't ever watched any of these. I've known about them for a while.
Oh,
No,
wow.
I've known about it for. I mean, I watched the Yakko thing, but I kind of want to see this Batman and Joker take over for Toy Story Buzz and Woody.
Oh yeah, that was a good one too.
If it's just that, because I don't want to wait through like 20 minutes of stuff.
No, I think you can get larger episodes if you like subscribe to something. I don't know what it is, but the stuff they've got up for free is just clips.
Good.
You're the only actor to have played Batman and the Joker.
To my knowledge, that is true.
Nobody that I know of has done Batman and the Joker.
Yeah.
So if you would do that, do us the honor of doing that Toy Story piece that Brian picked as Batman and Joker.
According to my Navi computer, Shut up! Just shut up, you idiot. Sheriff, this is no time to panic. This is the perfect time to panic. I'm lost! Andy is gone. They're gonna move from that house in 2 days, and it's all your fault! But my fault? If you hadn't pushed me out of the window in the first place. Oh, yeah. Well, if you hadn't shown up in your stupid little cardboard spaceship and taken away everything that was important to me. Don't talk to me about importance. Because of you, the security of this entire universe is in jeopardy. What are you talking about? Right now, poised at the edge of the galaxy, Emperor Zurg has been secretly building a weapon with the destructive capacity to annihilate an entire planet. I alone have information that reveals this weapon's only weakness, and you, my friend, are responsible for delaying my rendezvous with Star Command. You are a toy! You aren't the real Buzz Lightyear. You're an action figure. You're a child's plaything. You are a sad, strange little man. You have my pity. Farewell.
Thank you, buddy.
Troy Baker is amazing.
Oh, that's right. He was the. I was ready to say, when was he Batman?
Even the Telltale games.
Yeah, the Telltale games, and apparently the latest Flash, Lego DC Comics Superheroes Flash game.
Oh, really?
Or video.
Oh yeah, so
yeah, those are fun though.
Yeah, that's everything that I watched. Shall we? What are we doing for time? Oh no, it's time. We're not going to get to the news, but we will thank our patrons for supporting us as always. Just as an FYI, how your hard-earned patron money has been spent. We bought the lifetime subscription for XSplit. Usually, I've been using the Patreon funds to pay the monthly or the quarterly subscription, but I went ahead and saved up for a little bit and used that so that we've got our broadcasting tool forever now. Yay! So thank you to all of our patrons. Thank you, Regina. Thank you, Naomi. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Arturo. Thank you, Bobby. And thank you, I'm still forgetting one person. But thank you as always. If you'd like to be listed on our shows as a patron, you can head to patreon.com/gamersledge. where you get your name on every show we do for as little as $1 a week. And right now we've got our wrestling show going up on Tuesdays, and that is Monday Night Mayhem, only on Tuesdays. Real wrestlers, real fighting, really, even though it's all fake. And we've got our Gamersledge show, and yeah, so thank you for supporting Gamersledge.
And we got a bunch more news out on the Twitter feed. So
yeah, we have a bunch of news we didn't get to tonight on the Twitter feed, but I knew that was going to be the case. So yeah, let's head over to final thoughts while I queue up the video here. Dave, why don't you start us out with final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I'm hugely excited that Lumines is coming to the Switch.
And PlayStation.
And the Switch. And the Switch.
And
PlayStation.
I mean, if it's not going the Vita, I'm playing it on the Switch. I'm sorry. The thing is made to be a handheld game. I actually had issues playing with the previous PS3 version of the game. I could just not play it right on a console. Just something was different about it. A game like that is made to be played handheld.
Yep.
Just my opinion, and that happens to be right.
Wow, Matt, final thoughts?
I'm intrigued, and I think I'm going to go straight from here and watch Krypton and see, you know, what it's all about, and I'll be intrigued to talk about it next week. So, FYI, it might just be me alone next week, so
yeah,
that could be interesting.
Yep, that is a very true
Well, what
statement.
did you think of Krypton? I really liked it.
Yeah. I am an expert at talking to myself, so you know.
What did I think of Krypton?
The authoritative results of Krypton.
That's right. Yeah, my final thought for the week is if you're not aware, just as an FYI, normally movies release on Friday, which means they get a Thursday advanced screening.
Which means they now go on Wednesday.
Matt has been laughing for a while, saying they're just pushing it farther and farther back, and eventually it'll be the Monday prior. But in this case, Ready Player One actually releases on Thursday, which we bought tickets for, which I still have tickets for. But the release is on Wednesday, which we now also have tickets for. Thank you, Alamo Drafthouse, for giving me a free ticket on my birthday, because that's what I used to buy that. So we're seeing it in 70 millimeter 2D on the preview night, and then we're seeing it in 3D on actual release day.
Was it film 3D or is it after?
I believe it is. That's a great question that I don't know the answer to.
Fair enough.
All I know is I'm super excited to see it. It's getting a lot of positive reviews. The critic score is like 60 on there, but there's only like 10 reviews. But most of the things that I'm paying attention to is people are saying it captures the magic of the early Spielberg movies, which that's something I can never get enough of. So I'm super excited about it, and I'm glad. I'm actually going to watch it 3 days in a row, because I've got that Wednesday night showing, I've got the Thursday afternoon showing, and then I've got a friend who can't watch it till Friday, and I'm going to movie pass with him on Friday to go see it. I'm not going to pay for it 3 times, but yeah.
Just in the time that we previously looked it up to the time that I just looked it up again, Pacific Rim's rating dropped on Rotten Tomatoes.
Another PSA we should throw out there is I think by now everyone's heard about the fate of Toys R Us in the United States. And tomorrow their going out of business sale starts nationwide. So if you wanted to sweep in and try to nab some stuff, tomorrow's probably the day to do it. Otherwise, it's probably going to be picked over.
Well, it looks like from a lot of the stores that I saw a couple articles online of people going into Toys R Us's and taking photos of everything. They look pretty picked over already.
Picked over already, yeah. That's true. There's probably not a lot there left. They probably stopped restocking a while ago. So,
They stopped restocking, and I believe like Lego's not included in any sales.
Oh, of course not. Yeah.
No, they're not. Nor are video games because reasons.
Yeah.
We'll end the show as we do every week with a wise kernel of wisdom to tide you over till our next podcast.
We really still do that?
Oh yeah, we sure do, Dave. Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
How much does a photogenic hipster weigh?
No.
An Instagram.
God, I hate you.
Until next week, game on.
Game on.
Oh, is this not going to load? Yay! Nothing can ever work. This is why we can't have nice things. Seriously.
You know why? Because that pun.
That pun knocked the internet.
That was
off
pretty
its
good.
head.
That was a pretty good pun.
Wow, it broke YouTube. Your pun broke YouTube.
That's awesome. You're not allowed to play videos because you're puns. That was the error.
Why does it keep doing that?
Because it loves you.